All right, welcome everybody to the Grand Forks City Council meeting for Monday, November 20th, 2023. If we get a roll call, please, Maureen.
Weigel. Osowski.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Lunsky.
Here.
Kavami. Sandy.
Here.
Veen. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 1.2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 1.3, Mayor's announcements. Got a number of announcements today. First, I want to congratulate the UND hockey team, ranked number 1 in the nation. Pretty exciting weekend. And also the football team pulling off a last-minute drive and a win. They'll have home field, so if you get a chance, get out to the Alaris Center this weekend and watch that home football game. I want to thank all the citizens who came out and voted on Tuesday. I think the turnout was similar to past special elections. You always hope for more. You always want the maximum people to show up at the election, but a 2-to-1 yes vote was definitely convincing, so I wanted to thank those who came out and voted. You'll see the ordinance changes related to that coming up here over the next few weeks after the vote canvassing is done on the 27th. We've been continuing to do some business tours. So last week I was out at General Atomics and TAG, Technology Applications Group, got to see their taconite process and all the great things they're doing. So I wanted to give them a shout out. And then also at the mill, some great expansions going on there too at the North Dakota Mill and Elevator. So if you get a chance to drive by there and check it out, a lot going on. I missed the last COW meeting. I was out along with the city administrator out in Washington, D.C. Wanted to thank our congressional delegation for their reception. And then we had a chance to get out to the Pentagon, had some really great visits with General Schleif, who will be who was nominated, who will be confirmed here shortly, hopefully, as the Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Great meeting with him. Dr. Chaudhry, wanted to thank him. Kenneth Bray, Jerry Wren with Public Affairs, Jeff Wilson with TRMC, and Heather Campbell at SDA. So we had some great meetings there. And then it was very humbling and honored to be a part of the National Guard reception out there that evening as well, along with the communities of Fargo. In Minot, a couple more announcements. Just want to thank Streets and Sanitation. They're doing a great job on the leaf collection. They'll be finishing that up this week and going through for the 3rd time. So just thank them for the dedication and getting at it as many times as they did. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention we're coming up on the holidays, and it's just really important to remember the impact that we can have when we shop local. So if you get a chance to do some of your shopping, you can go out to businesses in town and check in there first. That always keeps that money in the community, and it recycles, and it really benefits everybody. So as you go out Black Friday and then up for your Christmas shop, and try to do as much local as you can. I know they really appreciate it. So with that, that's all I got for announcements. We will move on to 2 awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations. We have none tonight, so we'll move right into 3 public hearings and second reading of ordinances.
3.1, public hearing and second reading of ordinance to amend Chapter 18 Land Development Code sections as it relates to landscaping and buffer yard requirements, Section 180204, Rules and Definitions, 0309 Landscaping, Appendix A, Buffery Matrix, and B, Buffer Yard Types and Schedules.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing on item 3.1. Anyone here to speak on item 3.1? All right, seeing nobody, I'll close the public hearing portion. I know the Planning and Zoning Committee and the Planning Department did quite a lot of work on this one, so if there's not any more comments, we're looking for a motion on the item. Got a motion approved from Vice President Weber, second from Ms. Osowski. Seeing no further comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And 3.2, determination of protest on request to vacate storm sewer easements lying within Whole Central Addition.
All right, we will open the public hearing on item 3.2. Anyone here to speak on item 3.2? I think Dennis is waiting for the comments at the end, so we'll close the public hearing, item 3.2. Got a motion approved from President Sandy, second from Ms. Osowski. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that's it for item 3. We'll move on to item 4, citizen comments as it relates to action items. Do we have any comments related to action items this evening? There are none, so move on to 5. Oh, pardon me, we do have one.
Mr. Denault actually had one. Yeah, Dennis, I think yours would actually be under general comments at the end, so just check.
Okay, We're good? All right. So we'll move on to 5 action items. I know we had 5.1 is new. We also had some comment on 519. So 5.1 and 5.19 we'll have pulled. Is there any others that council members wanted pulled? 520. Give it a moment. Anybody? All right, we'd be looking for approval then on items 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 5.10, 5.11, 5.12, 5.13, 5.14, 5.15, 5.16, 5.17, 5.18, 5.21, and 5.22.
I'm in favor of all of them.
All right, we got a motion to approve from Vice President Weber, second from Ms. Osowski. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. So we'd be on to 5.1, then followed by 19 and 20. Ms. Storstad.
5.1, health insurance cap for 2025.
Ms. Bavette, please.
Good evening, Mayor Buczynski, Council President Sandy, and members of the council. I'm here tonight as a follow-up to our conversation on October 16th regarding the request that Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Dakota offer a 12% rate cap for the 2025 health insurance renewal. So Brown & Brown, our third-party benefit consultant, did go back to Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Dakota to request that 12% cap. Blue Cross Blue Shield agreed to a 13% cap for 2025 with the stipulation that the city not open up the bid to alternate health insurance carriers. So my recommendation with that stipulation is to waive the 13% cap for 2025. I think it's imperative that the city keeps competitive and looks at all our options when we're looking at health insurance.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we were hoping for a much lower cap if we were going to accept one. I don't, unless someone disagrees, I think that's the right choice.
I'll move to waive.
So he's going to move to waive, which would follow staff recommendation. Yes. Okay. Got a motion from Vice President Weber, second from President Sandy. Any further discussion on item 5.1? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
5.19, bids for Project 7978, reconstruct Washington Street from 5th Avenue South to First Avenue. This was tabled or postponed from October 16th.
Mr. Grasser, please.
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. The DOT is still working through some of the permit approvals and things on this project, and they didn't open the bids as scheduled. They're looking at the next bid opening to be January 26th, and so we'd like this action postponed to the February 5th City Council.
All right, thank you.
I move approval.
Got a motion to postpone. Is that a motion to postpone to February 5th? Okay. Got a motion from Ms. Osowski. Do we have a second? Second from Vice President Weber. Yeah, please, President Sandy.
Mr. Grasser, so just for my edification, the reconstruction of South Washington from 5th Avenue South to First Avenue North, does that include the entire stretch? No. Trying to think if that includes the area past Starbucks, but it doesn't because that's 7th, right? No, it's just the intersection?
Well, they're going to try to keep out of the intersection as much as they can.
North of the
There's
intersection?
definitely going to be traffic control in there, but the work is really, think of it more or less from slope to slope.
Sure.
On the underpass.
Okay, I was hoping we could wrap in some contingencies for the ins and outs at Starbucks there, but we're not.
That will be addressed. It's on on the CIP under some of the next phases.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
When on the CIP, is that within a couple of years, 25, 26?
Gosh, I didn't bring
Let me see it
my
there.
binder up, but the Starbucks is not part of the full reconstruction, but we keep working with the DOT on it. There's no good solution on that other than really a reconstruction, but they put the delineators up and then they have to take them back down for the winter, so it leaves that gap.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further comment on item 5.19? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
5.20, introduction of ordinance preliminary approval to amend the Grand Forks Comprehensive Plan to include Grand Forks East Grand Forks 2050 Street and Highway Plan update.
Thank you. Is it, Ms. Kuba, did we get a 2025? We were going to look at the differences. Did we get that added to the agenda?
2045.
Or 2045, sorry.
and that was sent out this afternoon. to-
Okay.
It should be attached to the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayor, so I was actually, because of the timing on that, we didn't have time to review it, so I was
Okay.
just wondering if we could postpone to the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Any other comments or questions while we've got Ms. Kuba here? All right, so we got a motion to postpone. When would that next meeting be? That'd be December, you get the date on that, anybody? December 4th? Okay. So we postpone, motion to postpone that till December 4th. We got a motion from President Sandy, second from Ms. Osowski. Any further comment? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that'll do it for action items. So item 6, information items.
6.1, investment portfolio summary as of October 31st.
Thank you. And item 7, approval of minutes and bills.
7.1 is your vendor list and engineer's estimate.
All right, we got a motion to approve the vendor list. Motion from President Sandy. We have a second from Ms. Osowski. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And 7.2 of the minutes from July 5th.
As is.
Got a motion to approve as is from Vice President Weber, second from President Sandy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries unanimously. All right, move on to item 8, citizen comments that are general in nature. Do we have some citizen comments? I believe we have at least one. Okay, perfect.
Paula Volgren.
Got the mic on. Ms. Falcon, please step up and the time is yours.
I don't know if you want me to talk, but I own this 701 Thrift over on Gateway Drive, and the Slapshot, the pawn shop in my store. We have a problem. We have people coming through there doing 40, 50 miles an hour. They almost hit a woman and a child. I called the cops. By the time the cops got there, 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, the car was gone. What was I supposed to do? Stand on top of the car and hold them there? No, that's not my job. But I have people that won't come to the store or the Slapshots because they're scared their kids are going to get ran over by these people. What they do is they come off a Gateway Drive, come through the parking lot, go back behind to those apartments on 12th and 13th, which is bad apartments, very bad. I have tried stopping it. I have put up signs because the city of Grand Forks workplace out there said that street does not belong to the city. It belongs to Slapshot, Pawn Shop, 701 Thrift, that it is not a through street for people to use all the time. I've been hit twice. I've been on the hoods of the cars from people because they don't slow down, and I don't know how they can miss a big fat woman like me going to the garbage cans, but they do. And my other thing is, we have people that are digging through the trash cans, throwing all the garbage out. I have to go there and pick it all up and put it back in there. When I catch them, they tell me that the city of Grand Forks tells them there's nothing nobody can do. They can dig in any garbage can as they want to. That's getting ridiculous. From now on, I don't pick up the garbage. It can go down Gateway Drive, it can go anywhere. I'm not picking it up anymore. Once it's in that garbage can, that's the city's problem. Probably not in your eyes, but I've been doing that garbage picking up in the dumpsters for 7 years, and I'm tired of it. I'm 64 years old. I don't think I should have to do all this. I don't know. Do you want to come pick up garbage in the mornings? Not me. So those are my two problems in our business. So,
All right, well, thank you. I think we need to first be aware of the thing, then we can definitely help out and see what can be done, so.
well, when I
appreciate you
call the
coming here.
cops, they say they have better things to take care of. And I don't know what, I think a woman and a little boy that almost got hit is the most important thing too. And me being on two hoods of two cars is kind of, you know, you're lucky I'm not dead because my husband would sue somebody. And like I said, I'm not a little woman. You can't miss me out on the, you know, going to the garbage cans.
Miss, if it's not a, I'm vaguely familiar, I think that was the original Happy Harry's, wasn't it?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Is there a reason why, so if you own the, or in your organization owns that parking lot, and there is a back way in, have you ever considered putting up barriers so that
Yep.
people can't use them?
Can't do it.
Who
The
says?
fire department says we can't do it, and so does the city of Grand Forks garbage people say we can't do it.
Okay.
All right.
Because
Well,
we were going to block it all off, and when the fire department found out, they said, no, you can't do that. And neither can, because of the garbage trucks, they said, the city said no, or the garbage people said no.
Okay, well, thank you. I think we're all interested in helping you find a solution, so
I hope
appreciate
so,
that.
because somebody's going to be ending up dead there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
And Dennis Denault?
Hello, folks.
Mr. Renault, please.
President Sandy and all you council members and all the other employees of Grand Forks. Kind of like her, there's been a problem there in the alley because of the FM International Market. This has been brought up for years. Nothing's been done about all the traffic. They got a brand-new street, and yet they won't even use the brand-new street, the entrance. They drive down the alley all the time, and the city does not maintain the alley properly. I wish it could get paved. I mean, it's getting really ridiculous when the blade operator misses it, and they finally hit it, but they're about 6 months late. I mean, it was nothing but solid potholes, and every other alley in town seems to have no problem getting gravel. And who do you contact in the city for investigating certain departments? You got somebody that can investigate?
Which department, what are you trying to investigate? The police department would do investigations.
Well, it's pretty hard to put any trust in them when 2 years ago, like I said, there was a major cooking operation next door to me. And this kid even admitted to it. And he took the heat for the other gal. He got locked up. But the health department wasn't there and the inspections. So there's something really super phony and suspicious and a cover-up in this town. And for 20 years, I was paying more taxes. I wasn't on a corner lot than the guy next door. And he's got 2 apartments upstairs. And the last time I checked into it, those 2 apartments weren't even listed in detail for the taxes, the city tax property bill. But yet they know everything about everybody else's house in Grand Forks, where the bedrooms are at for the fire department, the bathrooms. So it's really, this has been a major cover-up for a long time, and I wish we could get an investigator, a neutral investigator, to investigate everything that's been going on. So it's pretty ridiculous. I was paying over 30-40% more in property value for 20 years than the corner lot, plus they had 3 times the square footage in an old 3-car garage, a tin garage, until they tore that down. But their taxes finally went up, but so anyway, after the meeting or down the road, maybe Todd should be investigated too. But anyway, I'll talk to you folks down the road.
All right, thank you, Mr.
No, there's
Denault.
been a major cover-up, though, for a long time. With all the activity next door.
Any further citizen comments, Ms. Lundmark? All right. Item 9, city administrator comments. Mr. Phelan, any comments this evening?
Yeah, well, we have a few, and I want to team up with Dan, give you some updates on four important projects that we're working on. One is the Beacon by Epic and Council President Sandy. We're intending to bring the projects that I note here to your December 11th COW. And the one with Beacon by Epic, we've been working with them on some modifications of their current development agreement that relate to the public event space. And as you know, we were looking at a revenue bond, and the city set aside about $1.1 million in that regards. But they're looking at modifying the third building to a hotel slash apartment units from what it is today, and modifying the public event space. And of course, we need to sell that revenue bond. And so there's some moving parts in there. We still think it's moving forward in a good way. But there are going to be some modifications. We intend to bring that to the COW on the 11th. We anticipate having the developer here with us too to provide an overview, and so we'll be teaming up with them. But we've been working over the last couple months on modifications, so I don't want to get you off guard when we bring that back. And if you have any specific questions on that, Dan and I will follow up on that. The other thing that we've been working on to the same meeting, we intend on bringing the Epitome Energy Development Agreement. And so I think generally we're down to the last few things in that particular draft. And again, the development agreement just allows us to move forward in good faith in all the various areas. We've had meetings with the state of North Dakota. I'm going to give the county an update tomorrow on the project, but I think we're down to the last few items on that. The other thing, at the same meeting, they would like the city to be the conduit for tax-exempt bonds. They're called solid waste bonds, where they anticipate of their $450 million facility, about $125 million of that would qualify for solid waste exempt bonds. And so they're asking the city of Grand Forks to be the conduit. Again, similar to the all-through bonds, wouldn't be on our balance sheet, or we wouldn't be liable for them, but it will allow them to seek tax-exempt bonds. Those go through the state of North Dakota and the governor's office. So we would update you both on those two things, but those continue to move forward. Epitome Energy got some good news that they did get some additional state funding to do some preliminary engineering, including geotech. So that project seems to be moving along. And if you read the newspaper today, the first of 3 soybean crushing facilities is moving forward. The one in outside of Jamestown is moving forward and it has gotten completed. The third, I thought Dan and I would give you an update on the sales tax. Obviously, we're going to be having a canvassing board, and Councilmember Osowski and Munsky are going to be on that on next week, Monday. But Dan's been working with us on the ordinance modifications. The other two things that we're going to bring through at that meeting too is that we do have an Altru Sports Complex letter of intent that we anticipate having you guys review and approve. The other part is that, as we've discussed, there is an additional parcel that we do not own that would be contained within this sports complex, which is the Danks, kind of where the homestead is, that we would include that purchase. That was contingent on the sales tax. We would bring forward with that with some letter of intent for the city council to move forward with that acquisition. It's about $2.1 million. We do have an appraisal. And so we would honor that appraisal. So we intend to bring that through. The other things that we've talked about regarding this project is we would move forward with RFPs or RFQs in this request for qualifications for professional services, one for architectural and engineering, and the other one for construction management on this. We haven't done that, but that would come soon after the beginning of the year. The other part is we've talked about is an operations agreement. And we intend to work with the Park District on what that operations agreement looks like as the city owns that facility. The other thing that's been discussed is a governance structure of do we need in a governance structure of operating those facilities similar to what we will have with the public event space at Beacon and the Alaris Center. Do we want to set up some sort of governance structure? So those are the things that we're thinking about leading into the next year, along with the ordinance change itself. And then finally, the Grand Forks Regional Water Treatment Plant site downtown, we were looking at redeveloping that, and we would come forward to you here in the new year with some suggested ways forward regarding requests for proposals. perhaps some competitions with regarding the development as we move forward with that. We have set aside some drinking water SRF loans for the demolition of that facility. We've held off on demolition. We've been wrapped up in other things. So we do have a low-interest, long-term loan that we would fund through the water fund itself. But we anticipate bringing forward some options for you to consider in that. So, those are some enormous game-changing projects that we're working on. And with that, I hand over to you, Dan, about some of the particulars. We're working with Dan and Maureen and her team on these projects.
City council members and mayor, just to put it in perspective, I've got a draft of some modifications to the Beacon agreement. I expect to get the drafts with some red line changes to the Beacon by the end of the week, so they have an opportunity to review it in advance of the meeting on December 11th, where you consider it, so that we have the agreement fully vetted as far as the attorneys are concerned. One of Todd had mentioned the 1.1 million. Beacon is looking to get that advanced earlier than what was anticipated. And in connection with that, there will be some security interests that will be sought in order to secure that until the plaza is completed. The funding with respect to as it sets up right now, it's 2/3 of the funding gets paid once the plaza is done and two of the three buildings are completed. And the remaining 1/3 gets paid once that final building is built for the plaza. That has stayed the same, as I understand what they're requesting. It's just that early out with respect to some of those additional funds that the city had set aside for this particular project, for the plaza project. So the bonding stays relatively the same. There's also going to be a little bit of a shift from the management of the plaza once it's done. If you recall, there was this Beacon Events Inc. that had been created. We've kind of moved away from that, and it's going to be more direct between with the city rather than using this third-party Beacon Events Inc. And you'll see that with respect to the management. I'd envision it more akin to what you have at the Alaris Center right now, with the possibility of creating, as Todd mentioned, some sort of commission that might be a buffer between the council itself and the day-to-day manager. So that's contemplated, and you'll see that when you get the management agreement. Epitome, we had a really good meeting with the Epitome representatives about a week and a half ago to go through drafts of the development agreement. We're working through some of some changes with respect to that, and I also expect to have that sent out to Epitome by the end of the week with some additional changes that we're working through. So hopefully again, the intention is to get that so that from the party's perspective and from the attorney's perspective, we've worked through all the changes and we have a working document ready to go for your consideration on the 11th. The sales tax, there's the ordinance that need to be changed that I've identified. One is it's City Code Section 220102, subsection 2. That's the 3/4 cent sales tax. It only identifies the Alaris Center right now for the use of those funds, so that would have to be modified. The other code section is 22-0123. That sets out allocation of all sales tax, and I got to work with the finance department to determine, there are some percentages that are set forth in there. Right now, it's 33.06% is to the Alaris Center. I think it's a combination of all the sales tax that come in and they allocate based upon the math calculations, so that might need to be modified, at least with respect to the language that those funds can be used for this indoor facility. And then the last section is 22-0128, which is a sunset provision. That'll have to be modified as well. And again, we'll be presenting those by the December 11th Cal meeting for your consideration.
All right, any questions for Mr. Gastead or Mr. Phelan? All right, thanks for the comments there. We'll move on to item 10, Mayor and council member comments. I do see for the record, Mr. Weigel had joined us at some point throughout the process. So, Mr. Weigel, do you have any comments this evening?
No, Nothing at this time, Mayor. Just happy Thanksgiving to all of our city staff and their families and the citizens of Grand Forks.
Thank you, Mr. Weigel. Ms. Osowski, any comments this evening?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Looks like we've got Ms. Slunsky. Any comments?
No, thank you.
All right, Vice President Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick congratulations to the Downtown Development Association on a very successful parade. Their Holly Dazzle event last night went very well. Congratulations to them, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thanks.
Thank you. Former President Sandy, any comments?
Mr. Phelan and Mr. Gosted, can we have a meeting or a discussion about the December 11th meeting in advance? I think it's important that at least Mr. Weber and I see some of these documents and have a heads up before we, I feel like you're going to put in a whole bunch of work, and I don't want you doing something if it's not going to be looked highly
Worthwhile,
upon.
yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking we should save you some time. Maybe we could roundtable, even on the phone, whatever. I have a question. Mayor, maybe you know, maybe Todd, do you know, why does the state of North Dakota so desperately want a nitrogen fertilizer plant at Spiritwood, North Dakota? Why is that?
There's a lot of support in that area in their industrial park. You know, they had a really long run with CHS
had a project
back in
that, yeah.
2013-14. It didn't quite work out. The challenge at that site is water, and I think that was one of the issues of Jamestown's blessed by having an aquifer underneath it, but a lot of it, there was lots of work and discussion about was it fully appropriated or not. They were going to look to bring in wastewater reuse from Jamestown and Valley City and other places, but it's really strategically located in the center of the state. They have a terrific agribusiness park in that area and a lot of support in that area, and they have a lot of irrigation in that area, whether it's potatoes or corn in that area. And as you recall, Governor Dalrymple, put a lot of weight behind that back in the day to try to move it forward. And again, they have a senator in Wanzik who's really been a big, strong supporter in that area for a facility, nitrogen fertilizer.
Right, but they still, the amount of water that they have hasn't changed over the last 10 years, has it?
It hasn't. I know that even the State Water Commission did a study, or the Department of Water Resources, now they did a study of trying to evaluate maybe there was more groundwater in that aquifer than what they knew. So I'm not sure the outcome of that study, but they've done a lot of study of how they can grow their agribusiness and their water supply in that area. Obviously, if you have to start bringing wastewater reuse from Valley City and Jamestown, it makes it much more expensive to operate versus if you have the water right underneath where you're at.
But in the state of North Dakota, in the last legislative session, put aside, was it $100 million to help, or even 150?
$250 million.
250, but...
Yeah, it's a forgivable loan.
Sure, it's a forgivable loan that you can't use fossil fuels to create the fertilizer. You actually have to use water. So they put a contingency on it that when you already have a scarce resource,
Yep.
I just find it bizarre.
Yep, I think one of the big drivers we tried to get that natural gas pipeline to Grand Forks was that would be a big driver to get that pipeline from,
Which, of
out
course,
west to here.
The city of Grand Forks desperately needs the redundancy of natural gas.
Yes.
You would think that the legislature would want to support the northeastern part of the state, too.
It was curious that
Maybe
they
not.
specified a specific way to create nitrogen fertilizer as opposed to, and again, we all read the story, is that there probably wasn't a unified opinion, but it was obviously, they have a specific developer who's got a specific process in mind, and my guess is one of the challenges of that site is natural gas supply.
You would think so, right?
And so that's my guess of do a nitrogen fertilizer plant in a different way.
Thank you, Mr. Phelan. I appreciate your insight. As the chair of the League of Cities, I figured that you would have some of that information, so I appreciate that. And certainly, Mayor and everyone, have a wonderful holiday. Be safe. Have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I think I would just, wish everybody safe travels and enjoy your time with the family. With that, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion from Ms. Osowski, second from Vice President Weber. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. We are adjourned.